Well, good morning. It is Saturday, October the 7th, 2023. I am here at Cougar Lake, back in the William O. Douglas Wilderness for one last minute fall hike. Today's hike, all the way up to this point, was nothing but fall splendor, and everything was on fire with the warm colors of fall in contrast with the crisp, cold crystals of frost hanging onto the leaves in all of the shadows. Beautiful weather continues here in the Pacific Northwest with lots of positive PNA. It's forecasted to be in the upper 70s today, ample sunshine, and lots of warmth. I started this day trip about 6 a.m. at Chinook Pass, and I hiked south along the Pacific Crest Trail, weaving in and out of Mount Rainier National Park and the William O. Douglas Wilderness. There is a trail junction further back where I broke off on the American Ridge Trail, and then the other junction to come here to Cougar Lake wasn't very well marked, standing true to the nature of the William O. Douglas. It is my first time hiking this section of trail, and it's one of the last sections of trail in Mount Rainier or in this general area that I haven't hiked before. So there's another one checked off the list today. The main goal is just to get out and do some hiking. You know, time's running out, hunting season starts next week, and this very well be my very last hike of the 2023 season. Right about now it's lunchtime, so I'm going to make my way up to the shade. I'm going to eat some food and quickly make my way back along the trail, very slowly and methodically, enjoy myself and take in all of this beauty as I close down a fantastic and outstanding hiking and climbing season this year. It's a very long lake. That's the head of it up there. It's got some peaks. It's got a beautiful basin up there. Low angle light going towards the solstice. So it's barely cresting this ridge of mountains right there. But you can see how it goes all the way down that way too. And I just don't want to waste time trying to find my way down there, because I got quite a ways to head back to the truck today. And it's already almost noon. One of my favorite backpacking snacks. Wheat thin cracker, Swiss cheese, and some duck and goose pepperoni. Just filtering some water. Plenty of water around, but it'll limit the amount of time it takes to stop. I just filter a good bottle now. I already drank one too. Just brought some up from the lake. It's really steep banked than I thought it would be. It's not so easy to crawl down to its shores. There's another lake right over there. It has a group camped at it. But other than that, there's not too many people out here. And like it was 2 weeks ago here in the William O. Douglas, pretty quiet, very peaceful. It's really important today though with such short time frames of daylight, so I got to get back to my city life. It's starting to get dark around 6:30, 7 o'clock now. So first ever visit to Cougar Lake, short-lived. Quickly finished my lunch, had a quick sit down, a little bit of a stretch, and now I'm ready to hit the trail again. It's roughly 8 to 8.5 miles, all the way back to Chinook Pass. There's a lot of ups and downs in there. The trail here on the William Douglas Wilderness side is definitely a lot more overgrown, brushy, wet and damp. And there's a very stark difference when you hit the Pacific Crest Trail as far as the maintenance goes, you know, between National Park Service and National Forest or Department of Agriculture over here. So it's just always good to see contrasts, just like the changing of the seasons. Let's go. Right over this little moraine, you quickly come to this first or second lake, depending on what order you approach it from. It doesn't really have a name on the map, so I guess I'll call it Little Cougar Lake. But it's a gem. Very well situated. I like how the low angle light is hitting the water. Beautiful colors. I love these little surrounded hanging meadows in the fall. If this was in the summer, it would be green grass, really wet, maybe some snow melt, lots of bugs. Right now it's perfect. It's ready to receive a lot of snowpack. That ridge right over there on the northern skyline, that's American Ridge, and that goes for miles off to the east. I hope to come back and do it one day. The trail junction should be right down here. When I was backpacking in the Goat Rocks, I met a very friendly hiker who said the William O. Douglas wilderness was spectacular, but to beware and to be a good map reader if you come here, because the trail signage and trail maintenance is not the best. You can see the old post right there. That was a second clue to me that this right here, you can't even really see the trail, but that's it. It heads up to Cougar Lake. And there's this cairn right here. And within this post here, you can see where a sign was up at one time. So I figured this has to be the way. It's a good thing I didn't just keep going, because I just would have started heading out onto American Ridge. Would have began that ridge walk before I was ready to. One thing I really liked about this hike is the series of lakes along the way. This one here is American Lake. It's not too far from the trail junction with the PCT. Each one of these lakes is unique and beautiful in its own way. I've made it back to the trail junction of the American Ridge Trail and the Pacific Crest Trail. American Ridge goes straight, and then you have to take another side trail that I pointed out to you to get to Cougar Lakes. And to get back to Chinook Pass, I gotta go this way for about 6.5 miles. With 3 miles left to Chinook Pass, you come to the Dewey Lake system. This is the biggest one. It was absolutely stunning here this morning with the mists and the light and the bugling elk, the ravens. Everything and everyone was waking up. It seems like when I arrived at Dewey Lake this morning. I'm going to be heading up to the head of the lake, and then there's some switchbacks that head up to the ridge, and then I'll go up around the corner. It should all be downhill from there. And that's why October is just one of the best months of the year. You still have summer-like weather every once in a while. Every October is a little different. You know, this year we've had beautiful, dry, hot weather so far, and it's forecasted to be that way for the rest of the month. We have some rain coming, but not much. Every time I've done a hike in Mount Rainier National Park in the month of October, it's just been different, and that's what I love about it. You can get misty, cold snow, or you can get the last throes of summer. Right now, it's nothing but peak fall colors. Up there in the mountains, I think it was at its height. In another couple of weeks, it's not going to be like that anymore. Give it some rainstorms and some wind, and all these dry leaves all over everything are going to come falling right down. And it was already happening up there in a lot of the huckleberry bushes and the low shrubs. They were just at the height of their color. It was vibrantly beautiful. This hike was a great way to cap off a great hiking and climbing season this year. 2023 was a season of firsts, and I'm so glad that I ended it with another first. I had never hiked from Chinook Pass in either direction along the PCT. So it's always good for the brain to get out there and do something new. And that's good because it'll stick in my mind all late fall going into winter and into next spring, because that was probably my last hike of this season. Unless any opportunity comes up, you know, I don't expect to be hitting the trail again probably until March, or maybe heading up to the snow with some snowshoes around the holidays. So, you know, Duck Sage Venture, we're all about the changing of the seasons here. And even though it's the beginning of the season of fall, you know, we're rolling over and changing another season from mountaineering and backpacking and hiking to chasing ducks in the lowland marshes of western Washington and eastern Washington, and who knows where else I'll end up. No matter where my adventures take me, it's always my pleasure to share them with you through YouTube. Thank you for watching all my different types of adventures, from the mountaintops to the trails to the marshes. It's time to change locations now and engage in the pursuit of the great North American mallard. Next time I see you, it'll be in the duck blind.